Hi, everybody. So the votes are in, and our next limiting pattern or limiting belief that y'all chose next is actually, I'm going to do two in one today because they're both interrelated. Most of you voted for ignoring your gifts and capacities. And I'm going to also talk about how you can not only ignore your gifts and capacities, but you can start to use them against you instead of for you because they're interrelated. So, why is this important? For many of us, if we aren't recognizing our gifts and capacities, which is the things that are admirable about us, those strengths, the way that we are different and weird and awesome and just badasses, basically, if we're not willing to recognize that, then we're basically limiting the options that are available to us. We're limiting the tools and the potential avenues or perspectives that we can consider that might open up some additional possibilities and options for us that otherwise, if we are ignoring them, we can't even perceive them at all. They just look like walls. They just look like, well, we can't go here and here and here. Everywhere that you're looking at that this isn't possible, there's usually a wall there that maybe your perspective or your lack of a perspective, a different novel perspective, is not allowing you to see what's beyond that wall. So these could be literal walls, these could be figurative walls, but by ignoring your gifts and capacities, it doesn't allow you to not just even recognize those walls that might be there, look beyond them, or destroy them, like bring them down. What would it be like if maybe one of your gifts and capacities is your ability to be aware of when people have their walls up, when they have their walls down, when something's actually going to be ease and a flow to choose an option to go to this place to interact with this person, to create and collaborate with this person, or whether it's just the wall is up and it's not time. And sometimes when we choose to focus on when the walls are up versus when they're down or when we can take them down, we start to then use our gift of recognizing walls, recognizing barriers, recognizing resistance against us. And then we start focusing on that instead of other possibilities, other options. So let's say that you're someone that you're very aware of when someone doesn't really receive you, doesn't like you, maybe when someone's really resistant to your point of view. You're aware of when someone doesn't really want to be like touched by you, like they don't want to hug right now. And you've learned from however long you've been doing that, being aware of that, that now you start to then mutate that and start to attribute that to more and more people, even if they aren't really having that point of view about you. You start thinking that that is how things are when people are trying to interact with you, create with you, work with you, date you, all these different possibilities and more. So then you start to see it and your point of view creates your reality. Next thing you know, all you're seeing is walls. And since all you're seeing is walls, all you're getting is walls. So what if you could use your awareness of that for you instead of against you instead? What if you pivoted your attention and your energy to, okay, and where is there not a wall? Where is there an opening here? Where is there somebody that is more open to me, that is welcoming, that is leaning in? And also, where are the places that are asking for me, that are inviting me in to nurture my body, to create something different? That small pivot can be very, very impactful to how you decide to move about your day, what you decide to create, and who you decide to interact with. So one of the things that I'd love for you to get from this is, where is it that you're using, that you're ignoring your gifts? And we're going to get to a little bit more about that. But let's say if you are aware of them, where you are starting to have them ping back against you, like, and create something that is a block. So another way that you can know that you're ignoring your gifts is if you're not able to come up with about 5 gifts, at least 5 to start off with, that are things that are admirable about you, things that are different, that where you shine, where people are asking for your advice, your input, where they go to you as the go-to, the contact for this, the authority on this. If you can't think of at least 5 of those things, then this is where this is relevant to you. For most of us, we have way, way, way more than 5. But a lot of the people that come to me, they either life circumstances, or maybe they haven't recalled a time where they could ever have thought of 5. Perhaps because people in their lives were telling them that they were less than what they really were. Maybe it's from verbal and emotional abuse. Maybe it's from not really having the support and loving environment that would have invited them to acknowledge these aspects of themselves. No matter what the reason is, you can decide now to start developing this awareness of yourself, to discover these aspects of you and start to recognize them so that you could use these strengths, these gifts for you. Now, let's say you start to come up with like 1 or 2. Every little bit counts. Please give yourself credit. And so with those 1 or 2, then the next question to ask would be, okay, is there anywhere that I've been using this against me instead of for me? So some examples. Let's say you are someone that you're like, wow, I am really creative, or I have an amazing imagination. Okay, yay, you acknowledge that. Now, when you ask, is there anywhere that I am using this against me? Perhaps some ways that you might be doing that is maybe you're letting your creativity start to create problems that aren't really there, or you start imagining all the ways that things can go wrong before they even happen. Maybe you're creatively creating obstacles in your way. Maybe you are being very creative in creating money and then having it disappear, or the way that the new different ways that you can be choosing people and things and jobs and relationships that abuse you instead of respect and nurture you. You can use your creativity for something more, or to create less and to diminish you. Another possible example is empathy. I have a lot of people that are in my circle that are also with my clients, my family, my friends. They're very empathetic people. They pick up on other people's feelings, their thoughts, their emotions. They're aware. They're this walking antenna. Now, that is an amazing gift. And what if you didn't, one, use that power by saying, okay, because I'm empathetic, blah, 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 and use it to justify anything that's heavy, anything that's less than, anything that's challenging or difficult in your world? What if you didn't use that power of empathy to then start glopping on and carrying and burdening yourself with other people's stuff that you're picking up on? What if instead you can be very distinct and clear on what is yours and what you're aware of and picking up on with other people, to maybe invite them into a different possibility, to empower them, to increase their awareness if they're willing to have more awareness, which is a big if. Lots of options with this. So these are just a couple examples of how we can use some of these gifts against us. So I'd love you to consider both of these limiting patterns and see if it's relevant to you. Are there any way that you are ignoring your gifts? Is it been challenging for you to recognize where you have strengths, where you have these admirable traits? And are you using any of those gifts and capacities against you to then make your life harder, to make the progress slower, to increase that frustration, to reinforce over and over again the story that what you know is possible, what you truly desire, is not actually going to ever come to fruition? This is within us to influence ourselves toward something greater, to influence ourselves toward us having more and more of the clarity that will lead us to take those action steps to create the lives that we would really like to have. So that is our video and the information right now on this limiting pattern. Please go ahead and vote on the next one you'd like to see me do if you haven't already voted in our anonymous survey, or you can send me a direct message at any time, sending me your vote on which is the next limiting pattern or belief that you'd like me to discuss. We're only going to do 3 more. So get the votes in, share it with your family and friends, share this video with anyone that you think would be relevant to. Have this be a conscious, caring act that you can convey to someone that you know and love. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.